There exists a system of money creation so fundamentally different from what you were taught that discovering it feels like waking from a lifetime of deception. This system has nothing to do with working harder, saving more, or budgeting better. Those teachings keep you trapped. This system shows you how money actually flows, who controls it, and how to position yourself in the stream of wealth rather than outside it begging for scraps. They don't tell you this system exists because, if you understood it, their control over you would end. You would see that poverty is manufactured, that scarcity is artificially created, that the struggle you experience daily is not natural or necessary, but deliberately designed to extract maximum labor from you while preventing wealth accumulation. This is not conspiracy theory. This is observable economic structure that anyone can verify once they know where to look. What you are about to discover are 12 components of the secret money system, not motivational concepts, not positive thinking exercises, actual mechanisms of how wealth flows through society and how to tap into those flows. By the end of this audiobook, you will understand why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others work themselves to death and stay broke. The difference is not luck, intelligence, or work ethic. The difference is knowledge of the system. Before we reveal this forbidden knowledge, hit the like button and comment where you are watching from. Your engagement spreads this message to others who are ready to break free from financial programming. Now, let us expose what they never wanted you to know. Chapter 1, The Velocity Secret. The first component they hide is this. Money has velocity. The speed at which money moves through your hands matters far more than how much you have. Those who understand velocity become wealthy. Those who don't stay poor regardless of income. This single principle explains why high earners often have nothing while modest earners build fortunes. Money sitting still is dead money. Money in motion multiplies. When you earn $1 and let it sit in a bank account, that dollar creates no value. When you immediately deploy that dollar into something that generates return, that dollar begins working. The faster you cycle money from earning to productive deployment to return, the faster wealth compounds. Marcus earned $200,000 annually and felt successful until he realized he was broke. Every dollar sat in checking accounts earning nothing. No investments, no assets, just accumulated cash waiting to be spent. His friend Patricia earned $80,000 but deployed every dollar immediately into rental properties, dividend stocks, and business investments. Her money cycled through value-creating assets constantly. After 10 years, Marcus had saved $300,000. Patricia's investments were worth $2 million and generated passive income exceeding her salary. The difference was velocity. The wealthy obsess over deployment speed. They don't celebrate receiving money. They celebrate deploying it productively. Payment comes in Monday, invested by Tuesday, generating return by Friday. Poor people celebrate payday, then let money sit. Rich people treat money like inventory that must be moving constantly to avoid loss. This is why the wealthy borrow money even when they have cash. Borrowing at 4% to invest at 10% means their cash can deploy elsewhere, creating additional return. They multiply velocity by keeping multiple streams moving simultaneously. $1 creates value here. Borrowed dollars create value there. Meanwhile, their cash creates value in a third place. Same calendar time, triple the velocity, exponential returns. Here is what they hide. Your savings account is not building wealth. It is destroying it. Inflation runs faster than interest paid. Money sitting is money dying. The system wants you saving in banks because it benefits from your money while you get nothing. They lend your deposits at high rates, pay you almost nothing, and profit from your ignorance of velocity. The practical application requires mental shift. Stop thinking of money as something to accumulate. Start thinking of it as something to cycle. Your job is not to pile up cash, but to keep it moving through productive assets that generate return. Real estate generates rent, Stocks generate dividends. Businesses generate profit. Even lending generates interest. Every dollar should be working always. Measure your money's velocity. How long does cash sit before being deployed? Days? Weeks? Months? The wealthy measure in hours. Set a rule. No money sits idle longer than 7 days. If you can't find productive deployment within a week, you're not trying. This forces you to learn investment options, business opportunities, and wealth-building vehicles. The urgency creates education. They don't tell you about velocity because fast-moving money is hard to control. Static money in banks is easily extracted through fees, inflation, and opportunity cost. Moving money-building assets creates sovereignty. Learn velocity. Apply it ruthlessly. Watch wealth multiply. Chapter 2, The Asymmetric Edge, The Second Secret, reveals that all significant wealth is built through asymmetric opportunities. These are situations where potential upside vastly exceeds downside risk. The wealthy hunt for asymmetry constantly. The poor avoid it out of fear. Understanding this difference changes everything. Asymmetry means you risk little to gain much. Start a business with $5,000. Downside is losing $5,000. Upside is building $1 million company. That's asymmetric. Buy rental property with 20% down. Downside is losing your down payment. Upside is decades of cash flow and appreciation. Asymmetric. Invest in yourself through education. Downside is course cost. Upside is career transformation. Asymmetric. Compare this to employment. You trade hours for dollars at fixed rates. No asymmetry. Maximum upside is your salary. Maximum downside is your salary. Symmetrical trade with no possibility of extraordinary gain. This is why employees never become wealthy through employment alone. The structure prevents asymmetry. Diana worked corporate job for 15 years. Study income. No asymmetric opportunities. Her wealth grew linearly with her savings rate. Her colleague left employment to start a business. High risk. Asymmetric opportunity. 3 years of struggle. Then breakthrough. Business sold for $8 million. Same starting point. Different understanding of asymmetry. One path capped at savings rate, other path open to multiplication. The secret is that true asymmetric opportunities have defined downside and unlimited upside. You know exactly what you can lose. You cannot know what you can gain. This scares most people. They focus on potential loss. The wealthy focus on unlimited potential gain while ensuring loss is survivable. Here is the framework. Only take asymmetric risks where losing everything you invest would not destroy you. Never bet the farm. But always have bets running. Multiple small asymmetric positions means most fail, but winners more than compensate. This is how venture capital works. Invest in 10 startups. 8 fail. 1 returns 10 times. 1 returns 100 times. Portfolio wins massively despite majority failures. The system teaches you to avoid risk and seek safety. Why? Because asymmetric opportunities create wealth that cannot be extracted by traditional means. Employment, savings accounts, and conventional paths all have capped upside that benefits the system. Asymmetric opportunities have unlimited upside that benefits you. The practical application is to constantly seek asymmetry. Business ventures, real estate, skill acquisition, relationships, everywhere. Ask this question before committing resources. What is the maximum I can lose? What is the maximum I can gain? If loss is defined and small while gain is undefined and large, consider it. If loss and gain are symmetrical, skip it. Start small. Take asymmetric risks with money you can afford to lose. Learn the game. Build confidence. Then scale position sizes as you improve at identifying true asymmetry versus disguised gambling. The wealthy take calculated asymmetric risks continuously. The poor avoid all risk and guarantee mediocrity. They don't tell you this because a population chasing asymmetric opportunities cannot be controlled by offering employment security. Once you taste asymmetric upside, symmetrical trades become obviously limiting. Seek asymmetry. Build wealth. Chapter 3, The Attention Arbitrage, the third component, exposes how the wealthy extract value from attention while the poor give their attention away for free. Attention is the most valuable resource in modern economy. Those who monetize attention become rich. Those who give it away stay poor. This is attention arbitrage, and it is everywhere once you see it. Every minute you spend on social media, someone is monetizing your attention. Advertisers pay platform. Platform shows you ads. You give attention for free. They profit billions. Every hour watching television, networks monetize your attention. You watch for free. They sell your eyeballs to advertisers. You are the product being sold. Every moment consuming content created by others, they profit from your attention while you gain nothing. This is inverted. Your attention has value. Why are you giving it away? The wealthy understand attention as currency to be traded. They create content that captures attention, then monetize that attention through ads, sponsorships, or products. Meanwhile, the masses consume content and wonder why they're broke. You cannot build wealth while giving away your most valuable asset. Robert spent 4 hours daily watching YouTube, browsing social media, consuming news. His attention generated revenue for platforms and creators. 0 for himself. His friend Sarah spent 4 hours creating content. Her attention to her own projects generated income through ads, courses, and services. Same hours. Robert paid others with his attention. Sarah got paid for others' attention. After 2 years, Robert had nothing. Sarah had quit her job and lived off content income. The arbitrage is simple. Stop consuming. Start creating. Every hour spent consuming is an hour of attention value given away. Every hour spent creating is an hour of attention value you can monetize. The wealthy are predominantly creators and producers. The poor are predominantly consumers and spectators. Which side you choose determines wealth trajectory. Here is what they hide. The entire consumer economy is designed to capture your attention and extract value from it. Entertainment, news, social media, sports, all of it exists to monetize your attention. You are not the customer. You are the product. Advertisers are customers. Your attention is what's being sold. This is the business model. And you participate willingly while remaining broke. The flip is to become the one monetizing attention rather than the one giving it away. This does not require being an influencer or celebrity. It means creating value that captures attention, then extracting economic value from that attention. Write content. Create products. Build services. Anything that causes people to give you their attention, which you can then monetize. The practical application starts with attention audit. Track 1 week. How many hours consuming versus creating? If consuming exceeds creating 10 to 1, you are bleeding attention value. Reduce consumption systematically. Redirect those hours to creation. Writing, video, courses, products, anything that could monetize attention. Then learn attention monetization mechanisms, ads, affiliate marketing, sponsorships, product sales, services. Every creator who captures attention has multiple monetization methods. They never capture attention and let it go unmonetized. Every view is potential revenue. This is attention arbitrage at work. They don't tell you about attention arbitrage because the system needs consumers, not creators. Consumers are predictable, controllable, and extractable. Creators are independent, unpredictable, and wealth-building. Stop consuming. Start creating. Monetize attention instead of donating it. Chapter 4, The Information Asymmetry, the fourth secret, shows that wealth flows from those with less information to those with more information. Every transaction is information arbitrage. Those who know more profit from those who know less. This is not about cheating. This is about understanding that information itself is wealth. Real estate investors profit by knowing property values better than sellers. Stock traders profit by knowing company prospects better than average investors. Business owners profit by knowing customer needs better than competitors. Consultants profit by knowing solutions others don't. Information asymmetry is the basis of nearly all profit. The masses exist in information poverty. They know almost nothing about money, investing, business, or wealth building. This ignorance is not accidental. It is deliberately maintained through an education system that teaches nothing useful about wealth creation. You spend 12 to 16 years learning irrelevant information while receiving zero education about the economic system you must navigate. This is designed to maintain information asymmetry in favor of those who already have wealth. Kenneth worked construction, made decent money, saved 10%, did everything he was taught. After 30 years, he had $100,000 saved. His contractor employer built a $50 million company using the labor of workers like Kenneth. Same industry. Massive information asymmetry. Employer knew business, bidding, margins, and scaling. Kenneth knew how to follow instructions. The information gap determined wealth distribution. The wealthy invest heavily in information acquisition. Books, courses, mentors, masterminds, conferences. They see information as the highest return investment. The poor think education ended with school and consume entertainment instead of information. This choice compounds into massive wealth gaps. Here is what they hide. The information that creates wealth is deliberately kept expensive and difficult to access. Elite universities, executive programs, private masterminds, expensive courses. This is not because the information is inherently costly. It is to maintain artificial scarcity and information asymmetry. If everyone knew what the wealthy know, wealth distribution would shift dramatically. But here's the secret. In the information age, almost all valuable information is accessible if you know where to look and have the discipline to study. Public libraries contain wealth-building knowledge. Free online resources explain every strategy. Wealthy people have written hundreds of books sharing their exact methods. The information asymmetry persists not because information is unavailable, but because most people do not seek it. The practical application is systematic information acquisition. Commit 10 hours weekly to learning about money, investing, business, and wealth building. Read books by wealthy people. Take courses from successful practitioners. Join communities of people ahead of you. Study actual businesses and investments. Become an information sponge. Then apply information to create wealth. Information without application is entertainment. Application is where information transforms into money. Learn real estate investing. Then buy property. Learn business building. Then start business. Learn stock analysis. Then invest in stocks. The information exists. The application creates wealth. They don't tell you to invest in information because an informed population is a threat to existing power structures. Information asymmetry maintains hierarchy. Close your information gap, and you close your wealth gap. Study like your financial freedom depends on it. Because it does. Chapter 5, The Network Effect, the fifth component, reveals that your network is your net worth. This is not motivational slogan. This is economic reality. Most wealth is created through connections. Most opportunities come through relationships. Most deals happen through networks. Those inside valuable networks prosper. Those outside struggle. Access to the right network is access to wealth. There are rooms where seven-figure deals are discussed casually, partnerships formed, opportunities shared, information exchanged. You will never see these rooms advertised. You will never be invited unless you deliberately build your way into the network. Meanwhile, most people network with colleagues at the same income level and wonder why opportunities never appear. Marcus networked exclusively with other middle-class employees. They discussed sports, complained about work, shared zero opportunities. After 20 years, his network generated nothing valuable. His colleague invested $10,000 to join an entrepreneur mastermind. Within 6 months, he had 3 partnership opportunities, 2 major clients, and multiple investment tips that returned substantially. The network paid for itself 100 times over in year 1. The wealthy understand network effects. Each valuable connection multiplies opportunities exponentially. One well-connected person can introduce you to dozens. Those dozens know hundreds. Suddenly you have access to opportunities invisible to 99% of population. This is how deals happen. This is how wealth moves. Through networks, here is what they hide. The most valuable networks are deliberately exclusive. They require investment to access. Money for membership. Time for contribution. Value for acceptance. This exclusivity is not snobbery. It is protection. High-value people protect their networks from value extractors. You must demonstrate you will add value before receiving value. But the secret is that investing to access high-value networks is among the highest return investments possible. Pay $20,000 for a mastermind that connects you with people making millions. Expensive. But one partnership from that network could return millions. One client could justify the cost. One deal could change everything. The network is not the cost. The network is the value. The practical application requires strategic network building. Identify where your target network congregates. Masterminds, conferences, exclusive clubs, private events. Then invest whatever required to gain access. Yes, it is expensive. So is staying broke, because your network generates nothing. Once in the network, add value relentlessly. Make introductions. Share insights. Help others. Value givers receive value. Value takers get ejected. Build reputation as valuable member. The opportunities follow automatically. Deals come to people known for adding value. Also understand that your network must evolve as you do. Friends from childhood may no longer serve your growth. This is not betrayal. This is recognition that different levels require different networks. You cannot reach new levels with old networks. Evolve your circle. They don't tell you about network effects because they want you isolated. Isolated individuals are easier to control than network collectives. The moment you tap into valuable networks, your options expand beyond their control. Build your network deliberately. Watch opportunities multiply. Chapter 6, The Leverage Principle, the sixth secret, exposes that all wealth is created through leverage. No one becomes wealthy through direct labor alone. Wealth requires multiplying your efforts through systems, people, capital, or technology. Those who master leverage become rich. Those who rely only on personal effort stay poor. This is mathematics. There are only 24 hours daily. Even at $1,000 per hour, you cap at $24,000 per day, absolute maximum. But leverage removes this cap entirely. One person leveraging 100 people can generate $10 million while working less. One person leveraging capital can generate returns on millions while doing minimal work. One person leveraging systems can scale infinitely without proportional effort increase. Victoria worked as a consultant, high hourly rate. But she traded time for money with no leverage. Income capped at her available hours. Her business school friend built a consulting firm. Same knowledge, but he hired consultants to deliver services. He leveraged people. His income wasn't capped by his hours, it scaled with team size. After 10 years, Victoria earned $300,000 annually working 60 hours. Her friend's firm generated $10 million annually while he worked 30 hours. The difference was leverage. The wealthy obsess over leverage creation. How can I amplify results without proportionally increasing effort? This question drives every business decision. Hire people, build systems, deploy capital, Use technology. Every method of leverage transforms linear returns into exponential returns. This is the only path to significant wealth. Here is what they hide. The system trains you to believe your labor is your value. Work harder. Put in more hours. Grind more. This thinking guarantees poverty. Your labor, no matter how skilled, is capped by time. Leverage removes the cap. 1 hour of system building can generate infinite return. 1 hour of people management can multiply output 100 times. 1 hour of capital deployment can generate returns on millions. But leverage requires different thinking. Instead of doing everything yourself, you orchestrate others doing it. Instead of earning through your work, you earn through others' work. Instead of trading time, you deploy capital. This mental shift is what separates employees from entrepreneurs, poor from wealthy. The practical application starts with identifying leverage opportunities. In your current situation, where can you multiply output without proportionally increasing input? Can you hire someone? Build a system? Deploy capital? Create technology? Every situation has leverage potential if you train yourself to see it. Then, invest in building leverage. This might mean hiring your first employee, building your first automated system, making your first investment, writing your first scalable product. The initial investment creates the leverage infrastructure. Then you scale using that infrastructure. This is how businesses go from startup to empire. Through leverage. Also understand the levels of leverage. People leverage is powerful but requires management. Capital leverage is powerful but requires money. System leverage is powerful but requires building. Technology leverage is powerful but requires technical skill. The wealthy stack all four. Multiple forms of leverage multiplied together create extraordinary wealth. They don't tell you about leverage because a population building leverage becomes unstoppable. Leveraged individuals don't need employment. They create their own wealth multiplication systems. Learn leverage. Apply it mercilessly. This is the only path to escaping time for money trap. Chapter 7, The Tax Arbitrage, the seventh component, reveals that the tax system is the biggest wealth transfer mechanism in history. But the transfer is not from rich to poor as claimed. It is from the ignorant to the informed. Those who understand tax law pay almost nothing. Those who don't pay maximum rates. This is tax arbitrage, and it is completely legal. The tax code is not broken. It works exactly as designed. It was written by wealthy people to benefit wealthy people. But the code is public. Anyone can use it. The difference is that the wealthy study tax law and structure their finances to minimize tax. The masses remain ignorant and pay maximum rates by default. This difference compounds to millions over a lifetime. Employees get destroyed by taxes. Earn $100,000. $30,000 to $40,000 disappears to tax before you see a penny. No deductions. No strategies. No escape. Maximum extraction. Business owners play entirely different game. Earn $100,000 through business. Deduct $50,000 in legitimate expenses. Pay tax on $50,000. Take home $75,000. Same earnings. 25,000 more wealth accumulation annually. Richard worked W-2 job earning $150,000. Paid $50,000 in taxes. Took home $100,000. His brother ran a business earning $150,000. Deducted $60,000 in business expenses covering car, home office, travel, meals, phone, internet, education. Paid tax on $90,000. Took home $120,000. Over 30 years, this difference compounds to over $1 million. Not from earning more, but from keeping more. The wealthy don't just minimize income tax, they use every available advantage. Capital gains taxed lower than income. Real estate offers depreciation in 1031 exchanges. Retirement accounts offer tax deferral. Opportunity zones offer tax elimination. Charitable giving offers deductions. The code is filled with incentives. Each incentive is a tax reduction mechanism. String them together and effective tax rate drops to single digits while average worker pays 30% plus. Here is what they hide. Every tax break is an incentive for behavior government wants to encourage. Want people to invest in real estate? Offer depreciation deductions. Want people to start businesses? Offer business deductions. Want people to invest in opportunity zones? Offer tax elimination. The code is an instruction manual for wealth building with government subsidy. But they never teach you to read it. The practical application requires shifting from employee to business owner or investor. Even a side business opens massive deductions. Consult a tax strategist, not basic accountant. Strategists engineer your entire financial life to minimize tax. Accountants just file returns. One prevents tax, the other reports tax. Choose wisely. Then learn the code personally. Study sections relevant to your wealth-building activities. Real estate investors study real estate tax law. Business owners study business tax law. Investors study investment tax law. Knowledge is power, and every section you understand is thousands saved. Also understand legal versus illegal. Tax avoidance is legal and smart. Tax evasion is illegal and stupid. Every strategy recommended exists in tax code. Use them boldly. The wealthy do. The code is written for you to use these strategies. Ignorance is the only reason you are not. They don't tell you tax arbitrage exists because they need maximum extraction from those who don't know better. An educated population paying minimal legal tax cannot fund the system. Stay ignorant. Pay maximum. Get educated. Keep maximum. Your choice. Chapter 8, The Wealth Frequency, the Eighth Secret, shows that wealth operates at a specific frequency. This is not mysticism. This is observable pattern recognition. Wealthy people think differently, speak differently, act differently, and believe differently than poor people. These differences create different frequencies that attract different outcomes. Match the frequency, attract the wealth. Poor people speak poverty. My bills are too high. I cannot afford it. Rich people are greedy. Money is scarce. These statements are not observations. They are invocations. They call poverty into existence through constant reinforcement. Rich people speak wealth. How can I afford it? Money flows easily. Wealth is available. Opportunities are everywhere. Different language creates different reality. Poor people believe scarcity. Not enough to go around. Someone's gain is someone's loss. Zero sum. Rich people believe abundance. Infinite wealth available. Everyone can prosper. Win-win. These opposing beliefs create opposing realities. One contracts, the other expands. One repels wealth, the other attracts it. Christina vibrated at poverty frequency despite decent income. Constant worry about money. Fear of loss. Belief in scarcity. This frequency repelled opportunities. People sensed her lack and kept their distance. Deals didn't materialize. Her friend Monica vibrated at wealth frequency, confident with money. Expectation of gain, belief in abundance. Opportunities appeared everywhere. People wanted to work with her. Deals found her. Same circumstances, different frequencies, different results. The wealthy understand frequency matching. They deliberately cultivate thoughts, beliefs, words, and actions that resonate with wealth. They study successful people and adopt their patterns. They immerse in environments that reinforce wealth consciousness. They become the frequency before receiving the manifestation. This is not faking it. This is becoming it. Here is what they hide. Your current frequency was programmed by childhood, culture, and circumstance. You were handed a frequency by accident. But frequency can be deliberately changed through consistent practice. New thoughts create new neural patterns. New words create new beliefs. New actions create new results. Changing frequency changes everything. The practical application is frequency audit. What do you think about money? What do you say about money? How do you feel about wealthy people? What do you believe about your financial potential? Your answers reveal your frequency. If they are negative, limited, or fearful, you are broadcasting poverty frequency and wondering why poverty appears. Then systematically shift to wealth frequency. Eliminate poverty, speak entirely. No more I cannot afford it. Replace with how can I afford it? No more money is hard. Replace with money flows easily. No more rich people are evil. Replace with wealthy people create value. Every shift in language shifts frequency. Also immerse in wealth frequency environments. Join masterminds with wealthy people. Attend events where successful people gather. Consume content from millionaires. Your frequency adjusts to match your environment. Poor environment maintains poor frequency. Wealth environment creates wealth frequency. They don't tell you about frequency because it reveals wealth is consciousness before circumstance. If you can change consciousness, you can change circumstances. This empowers you beyond their control. Tune your frequency. Watch wealth respond. Chapter 9, The Asset Focus, the ninth component, teaches that the wealthy obsess over assets while the poor obsess over income. This distinction creates all the difference. Income is temporary. Assets are permanent. Income requires continuous effort. Assets work without you. Income stops when you stop. Assets continue indefinitely. Understanding this shift is understanding wealth. An asset is anything that generates return without requiring your ongoing labor. Real estate generating rent, stocks generating dividends, businesses generating profit, intellectual property generating royalties. These are assets. Your job is not an asset. Your salary is not an asset. Your skills are not assets unless monetized into something that works without you. The masses chase higher income, better job, more hours. Side hustles, all trading time for money. They feel successful when income rises, but they build nothing permanent. The moment they stop working, income stops. After 40 years of high income with no asset building, they have pension at best and poverty at worst. The wealthy chase assets relentlessly. Every dollar earned goes toward asset acquisition. Real estate. Businesses. Investments. They care less about current income and more about future asset-generated income. After 10 years of asset focus, their assets generate more than salary. After 20 years, assets generate 10 times more. After 30 years, they never need to work again because assets provide indefinitely. Daniel earned $200,000 salary, felt wealthy, spent most of it on lifestyle, built minimal assets. At 50, his assets generated $5,000 annually. Hardly anything. Retirement required working until death or severe lifestyle reduction. His college friend earned $100,000, lived on $60,000, invested $40,000 into assets systematically. At 50, his assets generated $120,000 annually. He retired early. Same time investment. Different focus, different outcome. Here's what they hide. The system wants you focused on income because income keeps you working. Chasing raises keeps you employed. Pursuing promotions keeps you compliant. Income focus maintains the hamster wheel. Asset focus breaks it. Once your assets exceed your expenses, employment becomes optional. This is freedom the system cannot allow widespread. The shift from income to asset focus requires discipline. You must delay gratification. Reduce lifestyle. Direct money toward asset building rather than consumption. Most people cannot do this. They earn more and spend more. Income rises. Assets stay flat. They run faster on the wheel but never escape it. The practical application is simple but hard. Calculate your current passive income from assets. For most people, this is nearly zero. Then commit to building it systematically. 10% of income minimum toward asset acquisition. Every raise goes entirely to assets, not lifestyle. Within 10 years of disciplined asset building, passive income becomes substantial. Within 20 years, it can exceed active income. This is the path to freedom. Choose assets appropriate to your knowledge and capital. Real estate if you understand property. Stocks if you understand markets. Business if you understand operations. Intellectual property if you create content. The specific asset matters less than consistent acquisition. Stack assets year after year. Eventually, they create wealth employment never could. They don't tell you to focus on assets because asset owners become independent. Income earners stay dependent. Choose independence. Build assets. This is the secret money system in action. Chapter 10, The Risk Reframe, the 10th secret, reveals that risk perception is inverted. What most people call risky is actually safe. What they call safe is actually risky. This inversion keeps them trapped. Those who see risk correctly build wealth. Those who don't live in false security until crisis reveals the truth. The masses believe employment is safe, stable paycheck, benefits, predictability. But what happens when company restructures? When your position is eliminated? When automation replaces you? Suddenly the safe job disappears and you have no backup. All eggs in one basket controlled by someone else. That is not safety. That is maximum risk disguised as security. Meanwhile, entrepreneurship is considered risky. No guaranteed paycheck. No benefits. Uncertain outcomes. But the truth is that building multiple income streams, acquiring valuable skills, and creating assets that work without you is far safer than dependence on one employer's decision. Diversified income is real security. Single income source is fragile vulnerability. Margaret chose the safe path. Corporate job, steady paycheck. 25 years of loyalty. Then, at 52, layoffs. Her safe choice became joblessness. No business skills, no backup plan, no other options. Years to find new work at reduced pay. Her friend took the risky path. Started business. No security, multiple failures, then success. Built business that thrived independent of any employer's decision. When economy shifted, she had control. Margaret's safety was illusion. Her friend's risk was actual security. The wealthy understand this inversion. They know that true risk is lack of control. Employment means no control. Business means complete control. Investing means you control allocation. Single income means fragility. Multiple streams mean resilience. They run toward what masses fear because they see the real risk structure. Here's what they hide. The system needs you believing employment is safe because it needs workers. If everyone recognized that employment is high-risk concentration in one uncontrolled income source, nobody would tolerate it. They would all start businesses, invest, and build multiple streams. The system would collapse. So they promote false security and demonize actual risk reduction. The practical application is risk assessment reframe. List your income sources. 1. Maximum risk. Multiple, reduced risk. List your control level. Employed, no control. Business owner, full control. Investor, portfolio control. List your skill development. Specialized employee, fragile. Broadly capable, resilient. The audit reveals real risk. Then systematically reduce real risk. Add income streams. Build businesses. Invest in assets. Develop broad skills. Each addition reduces risk despite seeming risky to conventional wisdom. A person with 5 income streams is far safer than a person with 1 salary 3 times larger. Diversification is safety. Concentration is risk. Also understand that apparent risk is often just unfamiliarity. Starting business feels risky because it is new, but once learned, it becomes manageable. Investing feels risky because it is unfamiliar, but with education, it becomes systematic. Risk often equals ignorance. Knowledge converts risk to calculated decision. They don't tell you the truth about risk because it would undermine employment stability they require. See risk correctly. Take real safety over false security. This is mature wealth building. Chapter 11, The Compounding Obsession, the 11th component, shows why the wealthy are obsessed with compounding while the poor barely understand it. Compound growth is the most powerful force in wealth creation. Master it, and wealth becomes inevitable. Ignore it, and poverty becomes permanent. This is mathematics that cannot be avoided. Small amounts invested consistently over long periods become massive through compounding. 1,000 monthly for 30 years at 10% return creates over $2 million. Not from huge capital, not from perfect timing, from consistency and compound mathematics. Yet most people save nothing and wonder why they have nothing. The secret is that compounding requires time and consistency. You must start. You must continue. You must not stop. Early years feel pointless. Results seem negligible. But you are building the base that becomes exponential later. The curve is flat for years, then goes vertical. Most people quit during the flat phase and never see the vertical phase. Marcus started investing at age 25, 500 monthly. Nothing spectacular. But he never stopped. 40 years later, at 65, his portfolio exceeded $3 million. His friend started at 45. Tried to catch up with aggressive investments, far less time for compounding. At 65, he had $400,000, same monthly investment rate, 20 years less time. The difference was 7 times. Time is the most critical variable in compounding. The wealthy understand this so deeply that they start their children investing from birth, not with huge amounts, with time advantage. A child who starts investing at 5 with parental help and never stops will be wealthy by 30 through compounding alone. No get-rich-quick schemes needed, just mathematics and time. Here is what they hide. The longer you wait to start, the more you must save to reach the same goal. Start at 25, save 500 monthly, reach millions. Start at 45, save 3,000 monthly, reach same millions. The difference is entirely compound time. They want you waiting. Every year you delay costs you exponentially. Also understand that compounding works both ways. Debt compounds against you. Credit cards at 20% compound your poverty. Understanding this makes debt management critical. Never let negative compounding run. Always maximize positive compounding. This is wealth arithmetic. The practical application is immediate start regardless of amount. Cannot save 500 monthly? Save 100. Cannot save 100? Save 50. The amount matters less than starting and maintaining consistency. Compounding cares about time and consistency, not initial size. Start small. Let mathematics handle the rest. Also, never interrupt compounding. When tempted to spend investment funds, remember you are not just spending the current amount. You are spending all future compound returns on that amount. Spending $1,000 today costs you tens of thousands decades later. This makes every spending decision a compound decision. They don't tell you about compounding importance because delayed gratification is required. The system needs you consuming now. Compounding requires saving now. One builds their wealth, one builds yours. Choose accordingly. Chapter 12, The Freedom Number. The final secret is the concept wealthy people understand, but poor people never learn. The Freedom Number. This is the amount of passive income from assets required to cover all expenses. Once reached, work becomes optional. This is financial freedom. Calculating and reaching your freedom number should be your obsession. The number varies by person based on lifestyle. Someone living on $40,000 annually needs assets generating $40,000 passive income. Someone living on $100,000 needs assets generating $100,000. The number is personal. But everyone should know their number and have a plan to reach it. Most people never calculate this. They work without target. They save without purpose. They invest without goal. This guarantees they will work forever because they have no finish line. The wealthy calculate their freedom number early and orient everything toward reaching it. This clarity drives decisions and creates focus. Jennifer never calculated freedom number. She worked, saved, invested. But without target, she could never know progress. At 60, she still did not know if she could retire. Her friend calculated freedom number at 30, needed 1 million producing 40,000 annually. She built assets systematically toward that target, reached it at 48, retired 18 years earlier because she had clarity. The freedom number calculation is simple. Annual expenses multiplied by 25. This assumes 4% safe withdrawal rate from assets. Need 40,000 annually? Multiply by 25 equals 1 million in assets. Need 100,000? Multiply by 25 equals 2.5 million in assets. This is your target. Once you have your number, you can plan the path. If you need 1 million and have 30 years, you must invest approximately 600 monthly at 10% return. If you have 20 years, approximately 2,000 monthly. If you have 10 years, approximately 6,000 monthly. The clarity drives action. Here is what they hide. Financial freedom is achievable for nearly anyone who understands the formula and executes consistently. Not easy, not quick, but achievable. The system wants you believing freedom requires lottery winnings or genius. The truth is, freedom requires calculation, discipline, and time, nothing more. The practical application is to calculate your freedom number today. Determine annual expenses. Multiply by 25. That is your target. Then calculate current passive income. The gap between your number and current passive income is the work remaining. Build a plan to close that gap through asset acquisition. Also understand that reducing expenses lowers your freedom number. Someone living on 30,000 needs 750,000. Someone living on 60,000 needs 1.5 million. Lifestyle discipline cuts your required number in half. This makes freedom achievable faster. They don't tell you about freedom numbers because free people cannot be controlled by employment. A population knowing exactly what freedom requires and actively building toward it is a dangerous population. Calculate your number. Build your plan. Reach your freedom. You now possess the 12 components of the secret money system. You understand velocity, asymmetry, attention, information, networks, leverage, tax, frequency, assets, risk, compounding, and freedom numbers. You see how wealth actually flows and how to position yourself in that flow. The question is not whether this works. The mathematics and observable reality prove it works. The question is whether you will apply it. These are not theories to consider. These are systems to implement. Knowledge without application is worthless. Application without consistency is experimentation. But consistent application of these principles transforms poverty into prosperity with mathematical certainty. They don't tell you this system exists because telling you empowers you beyond their control. An informed population building wealth systematically cannot be managed through employment dependency. Once you understand these principles, you see the matrix. You recognize the game. You choose to play differently. Choose one component to master first. Do not try to implement all 12 simultaneously. That guarantees failure. Pick one. Master it completely. Then add the next. Each component builds wealth. All 12 together create unstoppable momentum toward financial freedom. I have created a detailed action plan for implementing each component. You will find it linked in the pinned comment. This is not theory. This is step-by-step execution refined through testing. Download it. Study it. Apply it. The secret money system is secret no longer. You have the knowledge. You have the plan. You have the power. What happens next depends entirely on your action. Will you return to comfortable ignorance? Or will you implement what you now know and build wealth? They don't tell you this. Now I have. The only remaining question is what you will do with what you know. Build your wealth. Reach your freedom. Show others it is possible. Your move